The alarm on Park Do-hyun's console was screaming. Red lights flashed across the observation deck of the research ship Evergreen. Something was falling from the sky of the dead moon below them. Something big. Something on fire. Do-hyun pressed his face against the cold glass and watched the burning object streak across the gray surface. It was not a meteor. Meteors did not have wings. Meteors did not try to slow down before impact. This was a ship. An alien ship. And whoever was inside, it was about to die. He ran to the shuttle bay before his brain could tell him to stop. His captain's voice crackled through his earpiece, ordering him to stay on board. There were rules about first contact. There were protocols. There were 100 reasons why a simple lieutenant should not fly down to a crash site alone. Do-hyun ignored all of them. The shuttle shook as it entered the thin atmosphere of the moon. Through the front window, he could see the trail of destruction the alien ship had left behind. Pieces of crystal and metal were scattered across kilometers of gray dust. The main body of the ship had broken into 3 parts. Smoke rose from each piece like black fingers reaching for the stars. He landed near the largest section and stepped outside. His boots crunched on the alien debris. Everything was silent except for the hiss of cooling metal and the sound of his own breathing inside his helmet. The ship was beautiful, even in death. Its hull was made of something that looked like purple crystal mixed with silver metal. Strange symbols were carved into every surface. Do-hyun did not recognize the language or the design. This was not from any civilization humanity had ever contacted. He found the command pod after 10 minutes of searching. It was cracked open like an egg. Inside, surrounded by broken glass and sparking wires, was a woman. At least, she looked like a woman. Her skin was the color of pale violet flowers. Her hair was silver and seemed to float around her head, even without wind. Her eyes were closed, and golden blood was pooling beneath her body. So much blood. Too much blood. Do-hyun climbed into the pod and knelt beside her. His medical scanner beeped as it analyzed her body. 2 hearts, both failing. Strange organs he could not identify. And a wound in her side that was deep enough to see bone. She was dying. She had minutes, maybe less. His training took over. He pulled out his emergency medical kit and tried to stop the bleeding. But her blood was not like human blood. It did not clot. It kept flowing through his fingers like liquid gold, warm and glowing faintly in the darkness of the broken ship. The scanner beeped again. It had found something impossible. Her blood, despite being gold and alien, shared basic protein markers with human type O negative. His type. Do-hyun did not think. He did not weigh the risks or consider the consequences. He simply saw a person dying and knew he could help. He set up a field transfusion kit. The needle went into his arm first, then into hers. He watched his dark red blood flow through the tube and disappear into her violet skin. 1 minute passed. Then 2. Her hearts were still failing. Then something happened. Light exploded from the point where the needle entered her arm. It traveled up the tube and into Do-hyun's body like lightning made of gold. Every nerve in his body screamed. Every cell felt like it was being rewritten. He tried to pull away, but his muscles would not obey. The light faded as quickly as it came. Do-hyun fell backward, gasping for air. His heart was pounding so hard, he thought it might break his ribs. But beneath his own heartbeat, he felt something else. A second rhythm. Faint and strange, and definitely not his. The alien woman's eyes opened. They were the color of dying stars. Purple and gold and filled with depths that made Do-hyun feel like he was falling into a galaxy. She looked at him with confusion, then understanding, then something that might have been horror. Her hand shot out and grabbed his wrist. Her grip was surprisingly strong for someone who had been near death moments ago. "What have you done?" She whispered. The words were in Korean. perfect Korean. How was that possible? How could an alien speak his language? I saved you, Do-yoon said. His voice was shaking. You were dying. I gave you my blood. She stared at him for a long moment. Her golden blood had stopped flowing. The wound in her side was closing slowly, the edges knitting together like magic. Blood given is blood shared, she said quietly. Among my people, what you did was not medicine. It was something far more permanent. She touched her chest, right above where her two hearts were now beating steadily. Can you feel it? The second heartbeat? Do-yoon nodded slowly. He could feel it. Her heart beating inside his own chest like an echo. Our fates are now woven together, the alien woman continued. When you hurt, I will feel your pain. When I die, a part of you will die with me. This bond cannot be broken. Not by distance. Not by time. Not by anything. Do-yoon stared at his hands. They were still stained with her golden blood. I did not know, he said. I was just trying to help. Intention does not matter to the bond, she replied. Only the act. She looked at him with eyes that held gratitude and sorrow in equal measure. You saved a stranger at the cost of your own freedom. My people would call you foolish. And what would you call me? Do-hyun asked. She was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke a word in her own language. It sounded like music and starlight combined. Veleth, she translated. One who carries honor in his blood. She tried to sit up, wincing slightly. My name is Yena. I am the third princess of the Volanthi Empire. And because of what you have done, human, our lives are now forever linked. Before Do-hyun could respond, his communicator crackled. His captain's voice was frantic. Ships were approaching. Big ships. Alien ships. Yena's face went pale. Even paler than her violet skin should allow. My brother, she said, and her voice was ice. He's the one who shot me down. And now he has come to finish what he started. The Volanthi warships filled the sky like a swarm of black insects. Each one was larger than the evergreen. Each one carried enough weapons to destroy a small moon. And there were 12 of them. Do-hyun helped Yena into the shuttle. Her body was healing fast, but she was still weak. She leaned against him as they flew back toward the evergreen, and through their strange new bond, he could feel her fear. It was sharp and cold, like ice water in his veins. Tell me about your brother, Do-hyun said as he guided the shuttle through the debris field. Yena was quiet for a moment. Her silver hair floated around her face as the shuttle turned. Prince Taiwan is the firstborn son of my father, the Emperor. He believes he should rule the Volanthi Empire alone. But my father chose to divide power among his children. Taiwan did not accept this, so he tried to kill you? He has tried 3 times now. Yena's voice was flat, but Do-hyun could feel the pain beneath her words through their connection. The first time, he poisoned my food. The second time, he arranged an accident during a hunting ceremony. This time, he shot down my ship himself and left me to die on a dead moon. She looked at Do-hyun with those galaxy-colored eyes. He did not expect a human to interfere. The evergreen appeared ahead of them. The research ship looked tiny compared to the Volanthi warships that now surrounded it. Do-hyun could see weapons pointed at the hull. One wrong move, and everyone on board would die. What does he want? Do-hyun asked. Me, Yena said simply. Dead or captured. It does not matter to him which. They docked with the evergreen and were immediately met by Captain Saw, a gray-haired woman with tired eyes and a tense jaw. She looked at Yena with a mixture of fear and curiosity. Lieutenant Park, you have created a diplomatic nightmare, she said. These aliens are demanding we hand over their princess. They say she is a criminal who stole military secrets. She is a princess who was betrayed by her own brother, Do-hyun replied. And she is under my protection now. Your protection? Captain Song raised an eyebrow. You are a lieutenant on a research vessel. You cannot protect anyone from 12 warships. Yenna stepped forward. Even weakened, even still bleeding slightly. From her half-healed wound, she carried herself like royalty. Captain, I apologize for the trouble I have brought to your ship, but you must understand something. Your lieutenant and I are now bonded by blood. If you give me to my brother, your lieutenant will suffer everything I suffer. If Taiwan kills me, a part of your lieutenant will die as well. Captain Song looked at Diane. Is this true? Diane nodded. He could still feel that second heartbeat in his chest. It was stronger now, as if the bond was growing with every passing minute. I can feel her emotions, her pain, her fear. It is like having a second person living inside my mind. This is impossible, the captain said. Many things are impossible until they happen, Yenna replied. The Volanthi have practiced blood bonding for 10,000 years. But it has never worked with another species before. Your lieutenant is the first alien to successfully complete the ritual. This makes him very valuable to my people, and very dangerous to my brother. Before anyone could respond, the ship shook. Warning lights flashed red across every surface. A voice came through the speakers, speaking in a language that sounded like thunder and bells. Yenna's face went pale. He is coming aboard. Taiwan is coming personally. Diane felt her terror through the bond. It was overwhelming. This was not just fear of death. This was fear of something worse. Years of abuse, of attempted murder, of a brother who saw her as nothing more than an obstacle to power. He took her hand. The gesture was instinctive. We will face him together. Through the bond, he felt her surprise. Then, slowly, her fear began to fade. It was replaced by something warmer. Trust. You do not understand what you are saying, Yenna said quietly. Taiwan has killed dozens of warriors better trained than you. He is the finest fighter in the Volanthi Empire. He has never lost a battle. Then today will be a new experience for him, Doyun replied. The airlock doors opened with a hiss. Volanthi soldiers poured into the Evergreen like a flood of black armor and sharp weapons. They moved with perfect coordination, surrounding the human crew in seconds. Their faces were hidden behind masks that looked like the skulls of predators. Then Taiwan entered. He was tall, even for a Volanthi. His skin was darker than Yenna's, almost purple-black, and his eyes burned with cold intelligence. He wore armor made of the same crystal material as his ships, and a sword hung at his hip that seemed to drink in the light around it. Sister, he said, and his voice was smooth like poison. You continued to disappoint me. First you survived my attack. Then you bound yourself to an animal. He looked at Dalian with disgust. Do you know what happens to humans who touch Volanthi royalty without permission? They are executed slowly. Very slowly. Do you know what happens to princes who try to murder their sisters? Dayun replied. Where I come from, they are called cowards. The room went silent. Every Volanthi soldier turned to stare at the human who had dared to insult their prince. Taiwan's eyes widened slightly. Then he laughed. Brave words from a creature whose species discovered fire only yesterday. He gestured to his soldiers. Take my sister. Kill anyone who resists, and bring the bonded human to me alive. I want to see how long he survives when I start removing pieces of my sister. The soldiers moved forward. Yenna stepped behind Doyan, not out of cowardice, but to protect his back. Through their bond, he felt her determination mixing with his own. Two hearts beating as one. Two minds thinking as one. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. The first soldier grabbed Yenna's arm. Dohyun felt her pain through the bond like fire burning his own skin. The soldier's grip was too tight, too cruel. Something inside Dohyun snapped. He moved before his brain told him to. His fist connected with the soldier's helmet hard enough to crack the skull-like mask. The soldier fell. Two more came at him with blades drawn. Do-hyun ducked under the first swing, caught the second soldier's arm, and twisted until he heard bone break. The room erupted into chaos. Do-hyun did not understand what was happening to his body. He was a lieutenant, not a fighter. He had basic combat training, nothing more. But now he was moving like water, like shadow, like something that had been fighting for 1,000 years. Through the bond, he realized the truth. Yena's knowledge was flowing into him. 10,000 years of Volanti combat techniques, passed down through royal bloodlines, were now his to use. Every stance she had learned, every trick she had been taught, was available to him like memories of a life he had never lived. 3 more soldiers fell. Then 4. Then 5. Taiwan watched with narrowing eyes. His hand moved to his sword. "Interesting," he said quietly. "The bond has given him our fighting abilities. I did not think this was possible." "There are many things you do not understand, brother," Yena said. She had grabbed a fallen soldier's weapon, a curved blade that glowed faintly blue. "That has always been your weakness. You think you know everything." "I know enough to kill you both," Taiwan replied. He drew his sword. The blade was black as midnight and seemed to hum with deadly energy. "But first, let me show your pet human what real skill looks like." He attacked. Taiwan was fast. Faster than anything Do-hyun had ever seen. His sword cut through the air like lightning, each strike aimed at vital points. Do-hyun blocked the first blow with a stolen blade. The impact sent shockwaves up his arm. He blocked the second and third. Each one felt like being hit by a truck. But Do-hyun was not alone. Through the bond, Yena guided him. She saw patterns in her brother's attacks that Do-hyun could not see. She whispered warnings directly into his mind. Left, duck, roll, strike. Their 2 consciousnesses merged into something greater than either alone. Do-hyun landed a cut on Taiwan's arm. Golden blood sprayed across the floor. The prince stumbled backward, shock written across his face. "Impossible," Taiwan hissed. "You are nothing. You are human. You should not be able to touch me." "Maybe that is your problem," Do-hyun replied, breathing hard. "You spend so much time thinking about what should be impossible that you forget to notice what actually is." Taiwan roared and attacked again. This time, his strikes were wild with rage. He had lost control. His perfect technique was breaking down. Do-hyun saw an opening and took it. His blade sliced across Taiwan's chest, cutting through the crystal armor like paper. The prince fell to his knees. Around them, the remaining Volanti soldiers hesitated. Their leader was down. Their invincibility was broken. They looked at each other with uncertainty behind their masks. "Run," Do-hyun said to Yena through the bond. Out loud, he shouted to Captain Song, "Get everyone to the escape pods, now." The captain did not argue. She began ordering her crew to evacuate while the Volanti soldiers stood frozen in confusion. Yena grabbed Do-hyun's hand and pulled him toward the corridor. "The engine room," she said. "I have an idea." They ran through the ship, leaving chaos behind them. Do-hyun could feel Taiwan's rage through some strange echo of the bond. The prince was not dead. He was recovering, and he was furious. "He will destroy this ship," Yena said as they reached the engine room. "He will kill everyone aboard rather than let us escape. Then we need to give him something else to worry about." Do-hyun looked at the reactor controls. An idea was forming in his mind. A crazy idea. A human idea. Yena felt his plan through the bond and her eyes widened. "That is insane. You could kill us all." "I could," Do-hyun agreed. "But I probably will not. Probably." He began working at the controls. The reactor was designed with multiple safety systems to prevent exactly what he was about to do. But Do-yoon knew this ship. He had spent 3 years learning every system, every weakness, every hidden feature. He overloaded the secondary reactor. Warning alarms screamed throughout the ship. Emergency lights flashed. A computerized voice announced imminent core breach in 60 seconds. The Volanti soldiers, trained to recognize danger, began running for their own ships. Taiwan's voice came through the speakers, translated by the ship's computer. "What are you doing, human? You will kill yourself along with us." Do-hyun found a microphone and replied, "Maybe I will. But you Volanti seem to think humans are afraid of dying. We are not. We have been throwing ourselves at impossible odds since we first climbed down from trees. It is what we do. You are bluffing. Am I?" Do-hyun smiled, even though Taiwan could not see it. "Your ships have 40 seconds to back away, or we all find out together." Silence. Then, through the window, Do-hyun saw the Volanti warships beginning to move. They were retreating, creating distance, giving themselves room to survive if the Evergreen actually exploded. At 30 seconds, Do-hyun disabled the overload. The alarms stopped. The warnings faded. The ship was safe. And in the confusion, a single shuttle slipped away from the Evergreen and vanished into the darkness between stars. Yena sat beside Do-hyun in the small shuttle, watching the Volanti fleet shrink behind them. "You gambled with our lives," she said. "I gambled with everyone's lives," Do-hyun corrected. "That is different. How is that different?" "Because it worked." He leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. His body was exhausted. His mind was full of memories that were not his own. And through the bond, he could feel Yena's amazement at what he had done. "Your brother thinks in straight lines. Attack, conquer, destroy. He does not understand people who are willing to lose everything to win. Humans are strange," Yena said quietly. "Yes," Do-hyun agreed. "We are. But now we are partners, princess. Bound by blood. And if your brother wants to kill you, he will have to go through a very strange human first." For the first time since they had met, Yena laughed. It was a small sound, surprised and uncertain. But through their bond, Do-hyun felt something new growing between them. Something that might have been the beginning of hope. 6 months passed. The galaxy changed. News of what happened on the Evergreen spread faster than light. A human had bonded with a Volanti princess. A human had defeated their finest warriors. A human had made Prince Taiwan, the most feared commander in 12 star systems, run away in confusion. For the Volanti, this was an outrage. Their empire was 10,000 years old. They had conquered 100 species. They had never been challenged by anyone as young and primitive as humanity. The idea that a human could stand against them was unthinkable, but Do-hyun had done it. And now everything was different. Human volunteers flooded military recruitment centers across Earth and its colonies. Young men and women who had never thought about fighting suddenly wanted to join. If one human could embarrass the Volanti, they thought, maybe humanity could win this war, because war was coming. Everyone knew it now. Taiwan had convinced his dying father to authorize a full invasion of human space. The prince called it a punishment for insulting the empire. But everyone knew the truth. He wanted Yena dead. He wanted Do-hyun dead. And he was willing to burn entire worlds to make it happen. Do-hyun and Yena spent those 6 months building something new. A resistance. A rebellion. Not just humans, but Volanti too. There were many in the empire who were tired of Taiwan's cruelty. Generals who respected honor. Scientists who valued peace. Common people who simply wanted the killing to stop. They gathered in secret. They planned in whispers. And slowly, ship by ship, soldier by soldier, they built a fleet. The bond between Do-hyun and Yena grew stronger with each passing day. They could now share thoughts without speaking. They could feel each other's emotions from across a room. When Do-yoon dreamed, he saw Volanthi memories, ancient ceremonies, forgotten battles, poetry written in colors that human eyes could not normally see. When Yenna dreamed, she saw Earth, green forests and blue oceans, children laughing in streets made of concrete and steel. A small planet, young and fragile, but burning with a fire that refused to go out. She began to understand why humans were different. Your species has existed for only a moment, she told Do-hyun one night, as their rebel fleet drifted through empty space. In the time since Volanthi first built cities, humanity was still learning to walk upright. Yet you have accomplished so much in so little time. We do not have time to waste, Do-hyun replied. We know how short our lives are, so we burn brightly while we can. Yenna nodded slowly. Through the bond, she felt the truth of his words. Humans were not better than Volanthi. They were not stronger or smarter or more advanced. But they were desperate. They were stubborn. They refused to accept limits that other species simply obeyed. This made them dangerous. This made them powerful. And this made them exactly what the galaxy needed. The first battle came 3 months before the main invasion was scheduled to begin. A Volanthi patrol fleet found a human colony on the edge of known space. 3 million people lived there. Farmers and miners and families who had left Earth to build a new life among the stars. Taiwan ordered the colony destroyed. A warning to humanity. A reminder of Volanthi power. But Do-hyun and Yenna arrived first. The battle lasted 6 hours. The rebel fleet was outnumbered 3-1. Logic said they should retreat. Mathematics said they could not win. But Do-hyun did not care about logic, and mathematics had never met a human who refused to lose. He flew a fighter himself, weaving through enemy formations with Volanthi precision and human creativity. Through the bond, Yenna guided him from the command ship. She saw the battle like a chess game, predicting enemy moves before they happened. He executed those predictions with wild energy that no Volanthi could match. They fought like one being with 2 bodies. Every time Do-hyun found himself surrounded, Yenna sent reinforcements. Every time the command ship faced danger, Do-hyun cut a path through enemy fighters to protect her. Their hearts beat together. Their minds worked together. Their spirits burned together. The Volanthi patrol fled. The colony was saved. That night, as the survivors celebrated below and the stars shone peacefully above, Yenna found Do-hyun standing alone on an observation deck. Through the bond, she could feel his exhaustion and his quiet pride. You did well today, she said. We did well, he corrected. I would be dead 10 times over without you in my head. Yenna stood beside him, looking out at the universe. I have been thinking about the bond, about what it means. She paused. When my brother shot me down, I was ready to die. I had accepted my fate. Then you came. I came because you needed help, Do-hyun said simply. You came because that is who you are. Yenna turned to face him. Her galaxy-colored eyes were soft in the starlight. I did not choose this bond. Neither did you. But I am grateful it was you, Park Do-hyun of Earth. Any other might have used it to control me. Any other might have seen me as a tool or a prize. You are neither of those things. No, she agreed. With you, I am something I have never been before. A partner. An equal. She reached out and took his hand. The touch sent warmth through the bond, flowing both ways. Whatever happens next, I want you to know that I would choose this. If I could go back and do it all again, I would still want to be bound to you. Do-hyun felt her honesty through their connection. There was no deception, no hidden meaning. Just simple truth from a woman who had been lied to her entire life. We might die tomorrow, he said. Your brother is bringing his entire fleet. The odds are not good. I know, Yenna replied. But I have learned something from you humans. Sometimes the odds do not matter. Sometimes what matters is that you fight anyway. She squeezed his hand. So let us fight, together, until the very end. Through the bond, Do-hyun felt their hearts sync perfectly, 2 beats becoming 1 rhythm. Until the very end, he promised. Earth hung in space like a blue jewel wrapped in white clouds. The home of humanity. The birthplace of a species that had dared to reach for the stars. And now, it was surrounded by death. 1,000 Volanti warships filled the void around the planet. Each one was a weapon of terrible power. Each one carried soldiers who had conquered 100 worlds. Prince Taiwan had brought everything. Every ship in his fleet. Every warrior under his command. He would accept nothing less than total victory. Facing them were 400 human ships. Some were warships, built quickly in the months since the conflict began. Others were civilian vessels, cargo ships, and passenger liners that had been armed with whatever weapons could be found. Volunteers crewed every deck. Farmers and teachers and artists who had never fired a gun now stood ready to defend their world. And at the front of this desperate fleet was a single ship called the New Dawn. On its bridge stood Do-hyun and Yenna, their hands clasped together. Their minds linked through a bond that had grown stronger than either species had ever seen. He is hailing us, the communications officer reported. Do-hyun nodded. Put him through. Taiwan's face appeared on the main screen. He looked different than he had 6 months ago. Thinner, darker around the eyes. The scar from Do-hyun's blade was still visible across his chest. Sister, he said coldly, you have had your little rebellion. You have embarrassed me in front of the galaxy. But now it ends. Surrender yourself and your pet human, and I will let some of these creatures live. Yenna stepped forward. Through the bond, Do-hyun felt her fear, but also her resolve. She had spent her whole life being afraid of her brother. Today, that ended. Mother, you taught me that blood determines destiny, that we are born to rule or born to serve, with nothing in between. She paused. You were wrong. Taiwan's eyes narrowed. Was I? Destiny is not written in blood. It is written by choice. Yenna lifted her chin. I choose humanity. I choose this man beside me. And I choose to end your reign of cruelty today. The prince laughed. It was an ugly sound. You choose extinction. Look at the numbers, sister. Look at your sad little fleet. Mathematics does not lie. You cannot win this battle. Do-hyun took the microphone. Maybe not. But we are going to fight anyway. That is what humans do. We fight when we are outnumbered. We fight when logic says we should run. We fight because some things are worth dying for. He looked at the blue planet behind him. Earth is worth dying for. Freedom is worth dying for. And if we go down today, we are taking a lot of you with us. Taiwan shook his head. Brave words. Foolish words. In 1 hour, your species will be extinct, and I will hang your body from my flagship as a warning to any who dare challenge the Volanti Empire. The screen went dark. Do-hyun turned to face the bridge crew. Every eye was on him. Every heart was beating fast. Through the bond, he could feel Yenna's presence beside him like a warm fire on a cold night. Listen to me, he said, his voice calm and clear. We are outnumbered. We are outgunned. The math says we should lose. But math does not know what we know. He looked at each face, human and Volanti rebel alike. It does not know that we fight for our families. It does not know that we fight for our homes. It does not know that humanity has faced impossible odds before and refused to quit. He raised his fist. Today, we show the galaxy what humans are made of. Today, We teach them that small does not mean weak. Today, we prove that even the mightiest empire can fall when free people stand together. A cheer rose from the crew. It spread to the other ships. 400 voices became 4,000, then 40,000. The fleet surged forward. The battle began. Do-Hyun and Yenna fought as one mind. He flew a fighter through the chaos while she commanded from the new dawn. Through their bond, they shared information instantly. Enemy positions, weak points, opportunities that no single mind could see. Human pilots flew with desperate courage. They rammed enemy ships when their weapons failed. They blocked missiles with their own bodies. They died by the hundreds, but they kept fighting. Volanti rebels turned on their former comrades. Ships that had served the Empire for centuries now fired on Taiwan's fleet. The battle became chaos. Order broke down. And in chaos, humans thrived. Do-Hyun cut through the enemy formation like a knife. Behind him, Yenna directed the fleet with Volanti precision and human creativity. They were not two people anymore. They were something new. Something the galaxy had never seen. The tide began to turn. Taiwan saw his victory slipping away. His perfect formation was breaking. His invincible warriors were dying. In desperation, he ordered his flagship to charge directly at the new dawn. "If I cannot kill you with an army," he screamed through the communications channel, "I will kill you with my own hands." The two flagships collided. Metal screamed against metal. Soldiers from both sides poured into the breach. And in the heart of the chaos, Do-Hyun and Yenna faced Taiwan together. The fight was brutal. Taiwan was faster than before, driven by rage and desperation. His black sword cut through the air like death itself. But Do-Hyun had something Taiwan would never understand. He had someone fighting beside him. Every time Taiwan attacked Do-Hyun, Yenna was there to block. Every time he targeted Yenna, Do-Hyun intercepted. They moved as one body with two souls. They fought as one warrior with two hearts. Taiwan's sword found Do-Hyun's shoulder. Pain exploded through the bond. Yenna stumbled, feeling his wound as her own. But she did not fall. Instead, she used the moment of Taiwan's triumph to strike. Her blade pierced his chest. Golden blood sprayed across the deck. The prince fell to his knees. His eyes were wide with disbelief. "How?" he gasped. "I am the finest warrior in the Empire. I cannot lose to you." Yenna knelt before her dying brother. "You lost the moment you thought you could do this alone. The moment you pushed away everyone who might have stood beside you." She touched her chest, where Do-Hyun's blood still flowed. "This bond taught me something you never learned. True strength is not about being powerful. It is about being connected." Taiwan's eyes closed. His body went still. The greatest threat the Volanti Empire had ever produced was gone. Around them, the battle was ending. With their leader dead, the remaining Volanti ships surrendered. Human cheers echoed through space. The impossible had happened. Earth was saved. Later, as the sun rose over the Pacific Ocean, Do-Hyun and Yenna stood together on the observation deck of the new dawn. Below them, Earth turned slowly, beautiful and alive. "What happens now?" Do-Hyun asked. Yenna looked at him. Through the bond, he felt her exhaustion, her grief for her brother, and beneath it all, a growing sense of hope. "Now we build something new. Volanti and human together. The bond was meant to be a chain that trapped us, but we made it into a bridge." She took his hand. Their hearts beat in perfect sync. "Then let us start building," Do-Hyun said. And as the first light of dawn spread across Earth, two souls bound by blood looked toward a future that neither species could have imagined alone. A future they would create together, one choice at a time. The end was just the beginning.